Copper, you got yourself a sky-high piece of enrichment here. Hello and welcome, everyone. I see a bobcat butt to start our live post for the day. Scent marking, a scent bag. I wouldn't expect anything less from a rescued bobcat like Copper here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm still laughing at how we're starting this live post today. You can find Copper's better side here. But yet another day of living wild at heart here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. A little wet today. It was wet yesterday. Wet again today. But hey, it is springtime. What do April showers bring, Olivia? They bring May flowers. So that is right. We are welcoming a little water as to be expected in the spring of the year. But nonetheless, we are happy to be with everyone on this spring day. Happy to be celebrating 1, 2, 3 triple donations, Bobcat Copper. And just talking miracle match, of course, be happy to talk about Kimba as she continues to settle in and adjust to her new Wild at Heart life here at TWS. And yeah, we're going to have ourselves a good old sanctuary stroll. And what we're going to be talking about for a majority of the live, Mr. Copper. I wish your other half was somewhere around here. I'm thinking he's maybe over in that cave. But we are driving towards gaining 10 new sponsor parents for any 10 of our rescued residents. Sponsorships, as you know, and as we announced yesterday with the triple match, those are tripled as well. Those are going to be going 3 times as far. If you wanted to set up an annual sponsorship payment today, that annual sponsorship, you're paying the normal amount. For a cat like Copper, it would be $50 a month or $325
a month. I just did the math, Judson.
Okay,
I told you wrong.
$25 a month and $300 a year annually.
Correct.
That $300, if you were to pay that in one down payment, you would pay $300. That $300 is actually turning into $900, which is incredible.
That's massive.
That's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, Mr. Copper. Now look at what we have here. A few scent bags that we place in there for a handsome guy. But I'm going to get to saying hi to everyone in a moment. But truthfully, I'm highlighting Copper, but we are here today with the intention of finding Copper's other half, Bobcat Archer, who is one of the 10 cats that we're driving. I got a list of 10 cats, rather, I should say, from Gina, of who are some of the least sponsored rescues. That doesn't mean they're not special. That doesn't mean that we don't love them and appreciate them. But for one reason or another, they just have some of the least amount of sponsors. And shame on me, Olivia. Oh, speak of the man of the hour. Oh, brother.
Said I heard my name.
And I shouldn't say that it was, it not only was a list of cats, but there was also a dog on that list of animals here at the Wildcat Sanctuary that are in need of sponsorship support. So here comes Archer. As I mentioned, I was looking for Copper's other half, and that's exactly what Archer is to Copper. These two are as thick as thieves, as I like saying it, are certainly a miracle match here at the Wildcat Sanctuary as well. And Copper, I'd admit that Copper, he's a little bit more extroverted. Obviously, we saw Copper kind of greeting us to start out the live post. Typically, Copper is going to be the cat who is going to be opting for more photos from the paparazzi. But Mr. Archer in the background, he's still just as unique. And so maybe Mr. Copper, he might get a little bit more of that limelight. Maybe that's why he has more sponsors than his companion. But I'd be willing to argue that Mr. Archer is just as colorful and intriguing and, just as a vibrant of a bobcat as Copper. I think that Copper here in the front, we always know he's got a mischievous attitude. He is always kind of up to no good in his own right. And I'd argue that it's kind of the same for Archer in the background. Look at him. He's having just as much fun with that scented bag.
And I believe you just used the word colorful, Judson, and that is what Archer is becoming right now with all that marker on that bag. You look at his cheeks.
Yeah, you have some color on those cheeks,
He
Mr.
is
Archer.
quite colorful.
This is kind of fun, Olivia. These were some scent bags that were made for us by a group of students. They're absolutely adorable. And Olivia, I'll admit, we're kind of laughing to ourselves. So Archer is going up to this bag. It says kitty cat on them. That's spelled with a K. And hey, it took everyone time. I even make spelling errors these days, Olivia, but we were laughing to ourselves because that one says kitty cat, but a lot of them were saying city cat.
It's kitty cat to me, Judson.
And so I was like, city cat. I kind of made a little jingle and was saying city cat to myself. But then I realized that the C was replaced, or rather the K was replaced with a C, and city cat is actually kitty cat.
Kitty cat, kitty cat.
But absolutely adorable, and it certainly put a smile on my face, and then some, kind of thinking about city cat of, all right, little city cat bag, and but it's the kitty cat bag. Olivia, I've just been jib-jabbering here. Why don't you kind of welcome everyone and tell them what we're up to today?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. This is the Wildcat Sanctuary in Sandstone, Minnesota. We are a rescue and sanctuary to 140-plus wildcats in need. And right now, Judson and I are going around checking in with some of our medium-sized residents, but specifically coming to you to share the cats that are least sponsored here. Sponsorships are vital to the Wildcat Sanctuary as a nonprofit and a super special and impactful way to support the cats that you know and love. And so we were just talking about Archer, Judson, but we have a list of cats that are on our least sponsored list, and a dog, as you mentioned.
We do. And I think that's just, at the end of the day, what we're all here for, is to make a difference in these cats' lives. Yesterday, we were able to announce that we're making 3 times the difference with you all unlocking triple match through your generosity of double donations for the first portion of Miracle Match. So looking forward, it's a little surreal to think it's midway through April. Triple donations will be concluding on April 30th. Excited that we're able to announce it. Excited that we're able to highlight sponsorships for cats like Mr. Copper here. Yeah, Mr. Mischievous Boy. And it's just a good day overall. So I was hoping, who's also on that list, we're highlighting Archer here, who's in need of a sponsorship. And one thing that we haven't talked about, Archer is one of our wild-born rescues. See that by Instagram, Olivia?
Yeah, I did briefly.
But anyways, Archer is one of our wild-born bobcats, and he, along with Copper and many of our rescues, as all of them, have interesting stories that we can learn from and understand why these cats came to Sanctuary. Obviously, it's another way for you to learn more about Archer, and so you can feel like you are a part of a meaningful part, rather, of his wild at heart life here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. So certainly, as I highlight Archer, I'm glad to kind of talk about his personality, but I would, if you are considering sponsorship, check out his resident page. Read a little bit more about him. You'll see some more photos, and I can just only imagine that would endear you to any one of the rescues that we're talking about, or rather driving for, to help them gain more sponsor parents here.
And Judson, we didn't just announce the triple match yesterday. I think this goes hand in hand with sponsorship. So we also announced a new resident.
Exactly. Yesterday we announced the Eurasian lynx Kimba, who was rescued from a Colorado home. Pretty cool to see Olivia. A lot of people exclaiming in the comments how they called to set up a sponsorship for Kimba, how they had already set one up via the e-newsletter at our views, and it's just so awesome to see him. Here, a little thorny, but we'll hang out, Mr. Autumn. I feel like we haven't seen you in a while, handsome. Liz Green is asking, how is Kimba doing? Kimba's doing well. Listening this morning, they're doing some cleaning and outside of quarantine. So Kimba's in our quarantine. She is, as we've mentioned, is recovering from her space surgery. You all know it's usually about a 2-week recovery time. Her space surgery was last week. So I think it would be tomorrow on Thursday she'd be crossing the 7-day mark for her recovery period. So she has about another week in quarantine, but nonetheless, they're in her habitat this morning. And as you would expect, adding some new enrichment, making sure she's staying occupied and busy, so she's not paying attention to her. So Kimba's doing well, and it was good to hear that they were able to get a look at her incision site, didn't seem irritated or bothered, which we're always happy to hear. And that she's going to be not going on. So I wanted to walk over. We were just looking at Bobcat Autumn, but I came over for this Bobcat right here, who I have to admit might be one of my And Bobcat Francis is also one of the cats that we were hoping to highlight. Or is that Belvedere?
Belvedere.
Is it?
I
As he was as he was kind of slinking over there, I was like, it's blonde like Francis' indoor bedroom here. Cool to see. Here's Athena. Cool to see how all the Bobs here of Wildcat Pines are kind of doing their own thing. I was mistaken and thought it was Belvedere walking across his habitat. I see Francis's little Bobcat face sticking out of his room into his shift. Truthfully, I'm surprised that he doesn't make his way out here. He's one of those.
It is a little chilly and wet though today, so he might just be taking some time inside. And there's
Hey, Mr. Enzo, you didn't even give me a chance to come and see you, and I'm totally okay with that. Well, welcome everyone. If you're just joining us today, it is a little rainy day, but overall not too bad of a spring afternoon here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. I see Bobcat Enzo. He's got Bobcat Athena hanging out behind him. We're just cruising around our Wildcat Pines area where a majority of our rescued Bobcats live, highlighting a couple of our rescued Bobcats in particular. Bobcat Francis, who's hanging out in his indoor bedroom. I was hoping maybe he'd make a cameo appearance, but we were hanging out with Bobcat Copper and Archer, and Bobcat Archer in particular we're driving towards, hoping to gain him maybe another sponsor parent by the end of the day. He is one of our least sponsored cats. He would be at the medium sponsorship level, Mr. Enzo, just like you. And we would just be so fortunate for that support now, especially when it's going 3 times as far. So Enzo and Athena, you can see they've kind of brought us into their shift. This is their shift yard that leads into their habitat. Olivia and I, we don't have any chicken pieces. We're not going to be giving them any food. It's glad to see we're going to keep the party moving. That's correct. I keep on mentioning cats, and I guess you can't blame me too much, Athena. We have 140 plus cats and only 1 dog. And I'd be remiss. I've really been taught. Dudley, hey Pamela. A lot of hellos here. I guess my screen's maybe a little wet. Oh, thank you for that. Laura Gillen, hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Beautiful scenery, pleasant staff, and gorgeous animals. Amazing, all 3 at one location.
That's so nice.
That is very generous and kind of you to say, Laura. It's awesome. Glad that we've been able to uphold that for you, and you know, that's just real sticky. Yeah, that was a big drop, wasn't it?
That was a big drop. Passing Bruno Fiona Lloyd's enclosure right now.
We see Clyde. I see you, Bonnie.
Yeah, she sees you too.
Yeah, Bonnie, you're as quick as lightning. And I just love it. Sorry about everyone, a little bumpy service, a big freeze indeed, Maria P. I apologize about that, everyone. As life can go, our internet can beat us up sometimes, but we will not let us get our goat. But here's Bonnie. There's Mr. Clyde over there wandering around his lockouts and his den box. Bonnie and Clyde, we know, came from a situation here in Minnesota that is one of the kind of worst rescue situations we've seen in some time. Bonnie, Clyde, Kaya, as well as Canada Lynx. And happy to see that a cat like Bonnie, who had pretty much just a 4-foot by 4-foot space that was nothing but mud and overturned and broken dog loos, has a space that is about 15 times the size of that, covered in grass. Not only is it have the square footage on the ground, but for it to be taking advantage of that vertical space is something special. Cheryl Harden, glad to have you with us, even though the internet's behaving a little funky. Talk about, Bonnie. It makes life a little harder. Sick of the internet. To do a loop.
Okay, Sarge is on our list.
Sarge is on our list. I would love to go and see Sarge. Admit, it's a little comical to be stalked by two bobcats with floppy ears who just love stalking humans. That's Bobcat Mondovi. I wouldn't blame you if you would mistake Bobcat Mondovi for Bobcat Bonnie. Mondovi had a hematoma on his ear, which damaged some of that tissue, which gives him that unique flopped look. He's no worse for the wear. And as same with Miss Bonnie across the way, same side. They both really have kind of the same profile and color.
They look very, very similar.
They really are similar looking bobs.
I don't know if I've ever looked at them this closely, Judson, side by side as we're talking here, and they are almost spitting images of each other.
Yeah, Mondovi's got her in size,
yes.
and I think is a little bit whiter in color, but certainly they are two doppelcats. Yeah. We'll work on that one. We'll work on it. Well, let's go and check in on Sarge, and I appreciate everyone's patience. You're not alone. The internet, I think, is getting my goat a little bit today, so I appreciate that we've been able to get some semblance of a live post. Maybe we can check in perhaps later today and see what Kiara is up to, as she is one of the animals here at the Wildcat Sanctuary that we're driving towards gaining some new sponsors. And Sarge, I am just beside myself.
I can't believe you're on our list, Sarge.
Mr. Sarge, and you know, I always try to inject a little levity and have some fun, but you know, obviously then, or you know, deserve sponsors. And for some of these cats, maybe having less sponsors, it doesn't mean they're not cool. It doesn't mean they're not special. It doesn't mean that they don't need your support. It just means for one reason or another, this cat hasn't gained as many sponsor parents as it might need to support them, or as many sponsor parents as some of the other cats might have. So, Sarge, I've always known you. Anne-Marie Fisher asking, Kiara needs sponsors, question mark. I was pretty surprised, too. Kiara is in need of sponsors. I see, it's almost lunchtime, Mr. Sarge, so you think that I have some food, don't you? And Sarge will never abandon his post there in the corner of his habitat before food time, as that's just the best way to get a good vantage point on the caretakers coming in. Hey, Sherry Johnson, hope all is well. Or Sherry Donaldson, sorry about that. Changed your last name for a moment. What do you think, Mr. Handsome? Yeah, he says,
I'm ready for my food.
Yeah, he says, I got the grumbly tummy, so I won't hang out too long, Mr. Sarge. I know what it's like to be tempted with a good time. Oh, Mr. Sarge. And the ever-elusive Glenn, I see Faith pointing out. I did see Glenn earlier this morning. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in his bedroom right now. I don't see him kind of in his patented spot. Sarge and Morgan kind of leading the front here and on this perch and platform structure that leads up into the skywalks there. But Sarge, we do love you. And like I said, just because we're talking about some of these rescues that might have less sponsors than others, that doesn't mean they're not loved. That doesn't mean that they're less than. It just happens to be that they might have less than other cats, and we're hoping to get them up to where we need them. Because after all, it does take more than just one sponsor to cover the cost of the care that goes into one of our rescued cats. And that goes for any one of the levels, the big cats, the medium cats, and small cats.
Yeah, I was going to say, Judson, these cats have sponsors that love them, so this is not to discredit their love either. And
yeah.
It takes a team. It takes a big TWS family, so these cats appreciate their existing sponsors, and the more the merrier, as we say.
The more the merrier. That's the phrase that I've been looking for. It's been escaping me. The more the merrier is right. And especially now when it's going 3 times as far. And Sarge, he of course came here with Bobcat Glenn as they were rescued together. But among the many things, looking at his free roaming habitat, thinking about how he's awaiting a delicious and nutritious meal. And then, of course, him sitting next to a new companion, Bobcat Morgan. A lot has been made possible in Sarge's life And I can surely say it's because of the support from Sarge's sponsor parents. And we're happy to be highlighting the opportunity for more of those individuals to continue to step in and make a difference in cats' lives like Sarge, and know that that support's going 3 times as far. And Sarge says, this wet paw business, I don't know how I feel about it. That's good. It helps you hydrate, Mr. Sarge. Well, cool, Olivia. I'm really happy that as we're kind of ending here, we were able to get a little bit more of a friendlier internet signal. And I appreciate, as always, everyone's patience when it comes to this darn internet getting the best of us. But it doesn't mean that we're going to stop doing lives. It doesn't mean that we're going to not keep trying and trying and trying, because we all know that these cats are important to us, and we will do anything within our ability to make sure that we are sharing them with the ones who do so much to support them. Morgan's got the wet paws too. Alrighty, Olivia,
Judson,
any parting words? It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week.
I think we'll continue to update everyone on Kimba.
Certainly.
This, she's a new rescue, so she's new to us. We're learning her. She's learning us. So news might be a little slower than normal, but that's not a bad thing.
Okay, I like how you phrase that.
Yeah.
She's learning us, and we're learning her, and that's always done at Kimba's pace too.
Absolutely. But yeah, lots of updates to come, and of course, the rest of this week we have lots planned. And winding down Miracle Match, which is crazy. I can't believe April 30th will be right around the corner.
I know. And Thursday, tomorrow, we can expect a Wildcat wrap-up from the one and only Tammy Thies, which is always a highlight of my week. Certainly informative on all things cats, construction, your support, you name it. So we can look forward to that tomorrow. Well, cool. All right, Olivia, we did it. Maybe a little bumpy internet-wise, but we had a good sanctuary stroll.
Yes.
We got to talk some Bobcats, talk sponsorships and triple donations, and think it was a good live overall.
I think so, too.
Cool. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and we will see you back here at the Wildcat Sanctuary tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.